all of our speakers who have lifted up so profoundly the devastation, the moral degradation, the harm that is almost beyond naming, and yet you have heard it named by various faith leaders. All of us called, whether we are fasting or not, to make our voices heard. My fast, I communicated that to my doctor yesterday on a routine visit, and he looked concerned about the number of calories I was consuming. And he said, you know, you can't do everything, but I know I can do what I can. So whoever you are, as you have heard, find ways to support this fast. Find ways to support these demands. Do not be silent. We have fasters among us who are available to speak to the press. But I want to let you know that there will be an interfaith service on Monday, June 30th at 7 p.m. That'll take place at St. James Commons, next to the office of the Episcopal Diocese of Chicago. And we're available to give you more information with that, and we'll let the press know that that's happening. This is a time now, if the press has any questions, to go ahead and ask any questions that you have.
So you all were saying that this is not just symbolic, you're trying to put yourselves in the shoes, but how is this directly still impacting what's happening in Gaza?
Remember that this fast is to amplify. It's two things that are going on. The fast is to amplify the conditions in Gaza and the starvation that's happening, the intentional blocking of any aid. So I think it happens in a couple of ways. We amplify so that when people see that there are faith leaders and people of moral conscience who are willing to deprive ourselves in solidarity and in love for the people in Gaza. I was on a call with national fasters and international fasters the other day, a Zoom call, and there was a doctor from Gaza, and the veterans, remember there are veterans in front of the UN building right now who are fasting on 250 calories a day. This physician expressed his gratitude, his love, and the energy and support that he felt. So I know that when this comes to the people of Gaza, it may not come to the starving children, but it comes to the physicians and the caregivers and the people who know about it. It also is important for our Palestinian siblings here, who have people who are suffering in Palestine. So that's one way. This is to amplify. So whoever is hearing this can do something. And we can teach you more, and you can hear more about what you can do. The other thing, and for me, you've heard it said that this is a moral and a spiritual fast, as well as a political fast. It reminds me of the suffering that I cannot see. I am not a martyr. I am here to embody the love that the spirit of life and the spirit of love calls me to. So it's amplified. Make no mistake about it. Press does get into Gaza and Palestine, and people know what we're doing today. Does that help?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said.
Can I add something?
Sure.
I think it's very important to let the people of Gaza know they're not alone.
Yes. Right.
Solidarity. Solidarity is not just verbal. This is an act of, maybe going without a few meals, but also it's connected with action. We are going to bombard. I was tired of calling my congressman, meeting with him in person and getting nowhere. But this has given me new energy. And there will be a meeting at the UN next week. Palestine is going to be more in the news. So they need grassroots. More people are opposed to funding Israel. The numbers are up close to 70%. We need to activate that so the funding of Israel stops. So it's solidarity, action. Let the people of Gaza know they're not alone, but somebody's working for them too.
That's right. And the fast ends on June 30th, and that will happen at the UN, and there will be also actions in Washington, D.C. for the break of the fast. And as my colleague said, the idea is for other people, for the press to amplify this, and for all of us to amplify our own voices.
So June 30th, the fast ends.
The fast ends, and then next steps, if our demands aren't met, which are escalation, and we don't have what those escalations will be just yet.
And there are people camped out in front of the UN in Washington, D.C.
The people they're at the UN in New York.
Oh,
Yeah, no worries. And they're there from 8:30 till 3.
okay.
And remember, I want to remind you, it's on 250 calories a day. And they're living, most of them are living communally. And they're not all from New York. They're from all over. So they're veterans and they're also allies.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You mentioned that your doctor expressed concern to you when you talked about the fast. Talk to me a little bit about, your experience going through the fast since you started, and, even if you had any concerns about, your own health in this situation.
I don't. Fortunately, my doctor is a Muslim and supports my activism in so many ways, including taking care of my body. And for me, this fast has allowed me to drop into my body and into my senses in such a profound way. Since, for many, many years, and especially since October 7th and the onslaught and the bombardment of Gaza and in Palestine, including what's happening in the West Bank, I go to sleep at night and think of Gaza, and I wake up and think of Gaza. When I take a shower, I think of Gaza. I think of all of those who had, when I drive down the beautiful tree-lined streets in my neighborhood, I think of the people who are living in devastation. And since the fast, that is heightened. And it's heightened in me a deepening, abiding love and commitment. It's simply strengthened my commitment. So hunger isn't the issue. Anyone else?
I'd like to respond to your question.
Do you mind saying your first and last name
My name's Priscilla.
and spell your first and last name?
Priscilla, Reed, R-E-A-D.
R-E-A-D?
Yes. From my experience working within the Episcopal Church, I have found that many Episcopalians, and I think Christians in general, and I suspect people of other faith communities, are not comfortable with what they perceive as political action. The fast is properly situating the issue of what's happening in Gaza and Palestine in a moral, theological context. And this makes it much more meaningful for them to manifest their very deep concern, their heartbreak at the fact that Christian churches have not stood up as they should have on these issues. So I think this is another avenue of getting people to think and to act.
I think one of our other fasters may want to answer that question too, if you would know about that fast. Would you like to do that now or sure?
Would you please say and spell your name, please?
Sure, my name is Sherilyn Bevel. S-H-E-R-R-I-L-Y-N-N. Last name B is in boy. B is Victor B-L. So, for me personally and for a lot of people here, I reject the idea that violence, sadly including starvation now, can solve social problems. It's 2025. It's been 60 plus years since Dr. King told us it's nonviolence or non-existence.
it's appalling that we are supporting with our financial support and our turning our backs on what these folks are having to experience. I reject that. Limiting my calories every day. I'm doing 850 calories a day because I feel like I need to be able to stand on my 6 feet, and fasting on water or 250 calories a day. My personal, I've done fasts, nothing of this length, but I'd have to be in the bed. It'd be really difficult to do anything. And I'm committed to doing as much as I can and speaking out as much as I can.
Well, thank you so much, all of you, for being here, and all of our speakers and all of our supporters. Some of our fasters will be available for any further conversation or questions. Again, thank you for being here, and for those of you watching and those of you present here, it is our firm hope that what we've done here and what you've heard here will change lives and minds, and keeping in mind that all of our struggles are important.
And the genocide, and the genocide, and the genocide. Stop starvation, stop starvation.